Thanks so much for watching. This time we're going to be doing an ombre effect, which is very popular nowadays, but I have a client that is interested in doing something a little different with it. As opposed to the gradual change of color from one to the other, we're going to use the ombre effect to do a mural, a very simple mural. Anyone can do this one, all right? But the effect is really stunning. So we're going to begin by just base coating the wall with a nice cream color. I'm using all Valspar paints, and you're only going to need 2 gallons for this. We're going to use a gallon of Valspar Ancestral Home, right here, and a gallon of Valspar Dutch Licorice. I chose a satin finish, that way we can move the paint around quite a bit. The idea that we're going for is a mountain scene, a very simple mountain scene. So we will begin with a small container and add our base coat to it, and then just the smallest amount of the dark blue color, and I mean just a touch. I'd like to give you exact measurements, but I'm eyeballing this. You're going to decide how distant you want the mountains to look. So I'm adding just a few drops of this dark blue color to my base, and then give it a nice mix. The illusion we're going for is when you look at a landscape, what is furthest from your eye is faded into the atmosphere. Alright, so you're going to take your mix of base with just a little bit of blue, and I mean a little bit. It should be almost imperceptible, the change of color. Alright, and you're going to paint just the silhouette of a mountaintop, just the upper top line. Let me show you. And work quickly here. I've chalked this out first so that I have generally where I want my mountains to go. And just very quickly brush in the shape of the top of the mountain range. And then just bring it down. You're going to want to work quickly so that the paint doesn't dry on you. Distant trees are very fuzzy, so you can be quick with this. Anything in nature is not pre-planned, so don't overthink this part. Just get your paint up on the wall. And in order to facilitate the paint remaining wet for me, have a spray bottle of water. Put it on the finest mist that you can get, and you can just spray the edge to keep it workable. Not too much, don't let paint run down the wall. Then you're going to take your base coat right out of the can and add a layer of that to the bottom. So again, you have a stripe of the base coat with blue, and then a stripe of the pure base coat. Then you're going to take a nice large dry clean brush and do what's called cross hatching, which is just an X shape to blend the 2 colors together somewhat. This is almost imperceptible. This layer of mountains is so far distant you can barely see it. For the next layer of mountains, the more closer to the eye mountains, you're simply going to continue to add blue to your base coat. So I've added a full tablespoon, and now you can actually begin to see the color difference. It's not much, it's very subtle, because these mountains are still a great distance in the back, but there is a noticeable color change. And again, you're going to do the exact same technique. A strip along where the top of the mountain range is, and then crosshatch down to the original base coat. And what that does is gives you the illusion of distance and fog that has settled into the ravines of these mountains. Now you can really begin to see the mountains coming closer and closer to the eye. So you're just going to continue to add your dark blue to the base coat, put the top of the mountain range, then a strip of the base, cross-hatch them together. You can continue to add a little bit of water. It begins to set up on you, but not too much. And just keep adding dark blue as you come closer and closer. You can begin to see our mountains off in the distance. Just be sure that you keep your brushes separate. This is the one brush that goes into the mix. This is the one brush that goes into the base coat. And then you have your nice wide brush. See up at the top of the mountain, I just kind of scrumble, and what that does is gives the illusion of distant tree leaves. And down here you can just crosshatch. Bring it down to close to the next mountain range because the fog will sit in here. Bits of water, not too much. A little strip of our base. And then we crosshatch. Don't go up here, just crosshatch where the two meet. And then you can take your larger brush and really go to town. Now we're really beginning to see the more near mountains. And as you get nearer, you want to add just a little more detail to the tops of the mountains, as if they are the tops of trees. And all that means is just pressing your brush so that you can get actual tops of trees and whatnot, if that makes sense. As we get close to the bottom here, instead of adding the dark blue-green to the base coat, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to add some of the base coat to the dark blue-green because I do want to end up with a real rich dark green, which will be a lovely complementary color for the rest of the room. I just wanted to show you the detail that I begin to put in the trees. Again, the closer you are to the eye, the more detail you want. All the way up at the top, there's almost no detail at all. But to get that detail, just take a sash brush and unload some paint, and then just dab. Nice irregular shapes. Any areas that you don't like, again, like all these techniques, don't worry about it. Don't stress it too much. If you have an area in a previous layer that you don't like, you just cover it up with the next layer closer. So don't sweat it too much.